Now, the 2022 UN Ocean Conference to support the implementation of Sustainable Development Goal 14, which advocates for life below water, commenced yesterday in Lisbon, Portugal. We're now joined by the Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources, Derek Claassen, to shed more light on the implementations of the Sustainable Development Goal 14. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.
Good evening, Nina. Thank you for having me here.
Now, Mr. Claassen, the high-level UN conference to support the implementation of SDG 14 is being held under the theme Conserve and Sustainably Use the Ocean, Seas and Marine Resources for Sustainable Development. In the Namibian context, what core issues are affecting our marine life?
Yes, Nina. I think it's important, firstly, it might help putting this in the correct context that the United Nations SDG 40 deals with life below water, and specifically the need to conserve and sustainably use the ocean, seas and marine resources for sustainable development. Put simply, the seas have been a great provider of food to many people globally, absorbed carbon dioxide from all human activities, and continue to be the bulk provider of oxygen to humans and other organisms, and therefore needs to be protected in order to ensure continued life on Earth for future generations. I think that's important to put it in that context. Now, as regard to your question on what core issues are affecting marine life in Namibia, I wish to point out that pollution, IUU now is illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, climate change, ocean warming, seabed mining, and loss of habitat and biodiversity are some of the core challenges impacting marine life in Namibia. By the same token, I want to further point out that the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources remains committed and has various plans and actions in place to arrest and mitigate these impacts to our ocean. So that I need to stress also to you. Thank you, Nina, for that question.
Mr. Claassen, in a world beset by conflict, terrorism and economic stagnation, why the urgent focus on the oceans? Mr. Claassen, are you there?
Sorry. It's a bit unstable, the internet. I'm trying to...
Should I repeat my question?
I think so, because you said we talked about the COVID-19 and the past pandemic identifies in the conference earlier.
No, my question was...
Can I brief you on it?
No, that was not my question. Let me repeat myself. I was saying that in a world where, conflict and terrorism and economic stagnation are also issues that would be seemingly more pressing matters, above, focusing on the ocean, yet we are focusing on the ocean matters as well. So why the urgent need for this specific focus?
Nina, I cannot. This conference there is no urgent focus was on this on your. So that's why your question was a bit unclear to me, because we are focusing more on the issues of the sustainability of the ocean, pollution in the ocean, and that type of issues. That is what we are focusing on currently here in this meeting mostly. And if you can allow me, that I can then go ahead and explain to you about what we are doing to mitigate the situation after the COVID.
Yes, please do. And also tell us, how this conference will contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, as I mentioned earlier.
You see, I think by now we must all accept that we are at a turning point in our lives, and that the business cannot continue as usual. So some of these hard lessons we have learned from the COVID-19 pandemic, COVID-19 has taught us that, and has underscored the necessity of countries working together to address common challenges and achieve further emphasis by the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. It has provided an opportunity to change course and reset our economies as we work to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this has been the greatest challenge identified, the need for us all to work together. And how does this conference contribute to the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development? If I can answer you on that one, the conference is part of greater concerted effort and small but decisive steps towards the realization of Agenda 2030. You must appreciate the fact approximately 40% of the world population live adjacent to the ocean and are directly dependent on its health and functioning for their economics and survival. Therefore, it goes without saying that the healthy ocean is also central to solving the climate crisis and achieving the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda for the benefit of all people and a thriving global economy. So this conference will ensure that such actions are accelerated. Also, I need to mention that Namibia is a vast coastline, but not many Namibians make a living of the ocean. What does the ministry do to encourage Namibians to make a living from marine life in a sustainable manner? Now, what I can tell you here, it is. You are correct in that the Namibian coastline is indeed long. That is exactly the reason why our government has been encouraging Namibians to participate in fisheries activities, including venturing into mariculture, in order to improve their livelihood. It is worth mentioning that the ministry has a subsector of recreational fishing that takes place among the Namibian coastline by individuals and fishing community members. As such, the fishing community, with the effort of the ministry, had formed a group, and they are like a company. And this group is known as Hanganeni Artisanal Fishing Association, in short, HAFA. Now, HAFA is being governed by a board of directors as well. They have a CEO and they have some staff. Now, HAFA is self-sustaining and provides for its anglers with logistical facilities such as transportation to and from fishing grounds.
Thank you, Mr. Claassen.
So mostly some of these anglers, we used to call them bicycle fishers,
Thank you.
And these fishermen and women, what is happening now, this company that's created is taking them to different parts of the coast, whereby they drop them in the mornings, where they do some catching.
Thank
and
you.
In the afternoons, they pick them up again and bring them home.
Mr. Claassen, unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Sorry so much to interrupt. That's all the time we have there. But thank you so much for joining us, and please do enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Nina. Bye-bye.